And yeah, it's as you probably know, there's a lot of stuff that we're doing for the Falco graduation. Like at the last KubeCon, CNCF gave some recommendations, especially related to documentation and these things that and rules that we could implement. And we actually, over the course of the last couple of months, we implemented pretty much everything between us, the community, and maintainers. But now it's time to really bring everything together. So it's the last final stretch where, if you look at the tracker, pretty much 99% of the things are done, and we're trying to go through all of them to see that they're at least consistent. So it's a lot of work. And that's why that maybe I have not been working a lot on these topics. But Max, since you have a lot of context, I think you can help a lot here to bring that to completion, to bring the supply chain security topics that we were discussing to completion.
Yeah, let me go through the last issues. So oops, I also can share my screen, maybe.
Please do.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, you should be able to see my screen right now.
Yes.
Okay. So last meeting we talked about Thomas introduced Cosine for Falco UI. I don't know here what is the current status about this. So maybe we could give a check. Maybe there is an issue. Yeah.
Yes. And Thomas mentioned that he wanted to work on that after the release of Falco Sidekick, the latest release of Falco Sidekick. And I believe the latest release of Falco Sidekick is from 1 hour ago. So now we should have a bit of time to, well, he's also helping with the graduation stuff, but you know, if you, I believe according to Thomas, he should be working on Falco Sidekick UI now that the latest Falco Sidekick is released.
Yeah. Okay, so the next point we talk about is the signatures for the rules. So I think the PRs are ready.
All of that was merged.
Yeah, and we also merged them. Yeah, so we have right now the build tools for both rules and plugins that will at the end of the day can provide from the next release ongoing signatures for the artifacts, rules, and plugins. So I think that we don't have anything to do about this, I think, because
I think we should still, and this is something that maybe Max, if you want to look a bit into it, we started discussing it, but then I didn't have time to follow up. Basically, the idea is that I think we could technically, and we should discuss this among core maintainers. We could re-release every plugin and every rule. Maybe we can do a list of every plugin and every rule with an increased patch version, with the exact same thing that we had, but of course, since the CI/CD is running, that's going to be signed. Now, this is not that trivial. Like, it's not that otherwise I could do like in an hour, I could just go there and release everything, because maybe something has changed in some of the repos. So basically, the idea would be to go through every single plugin and rule and take a look at if there was any change, if a new version is required, or if we could re-release something with a patch version like this kind of work. It's a bit tedious. I think it would take a couple hours to do that and go back to core maintainers to take a look at that. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Discuss about this and then
Sorry, I didn't got your last words.
yeah, we can discuss that and then go to core maintainers to make sure that to the others to make sure that it makes sense. What we are suggesting makes sense.
Okay.
Plugin. Okay. Then we can merge. You have a PR for the index, and it would be great to link it here so we keep track of it.
Yeah, for the I have one. Exactly this one.
There you go. Please link it there.
Okay, so as we discussed in the list and in the previous meeting, this PR will introduce in the index that is generated and consumed by Falco CTL and the information about the signatures that right now are implemented with cosign, and we'll have the output that is displayed right here is your PR, Luca. So we can have an example. So this index will have the structure here of signature right now at cosign implementation, and is actually generated during the CI/CD by this tool included in the plugins repository, and so it's pretty simple. Actually, is more test than code, because at the end of the day, it's only a matter of including the signature structure that comes from the Falco CTL index, so that the contract with Falco CTL. And yeah, the PR is only testing code mainly, besides this part, so it's pretty simple.
Yeah, and I think we can merge it, but we have to be consistent first. So first we have to release everything with signatures, and then we can merge it. Because if we update the index, then newer versions of Falco CTL will require the signatures, and if the signatures are not present, then it's going to complain. Which means, unless of course you would tune it with the option, but actually we want to be ready, since signatures don't make any harm unless you have latest version of FalcoCTL, then we should put signatures in there first, and then we can update the index. This way, it should work perfectly well, either if you have old FalcoCTL or new FalcoCTL. Regarding that, I think at least an RC for FalcoCTL would be in order.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was a question that I asked because right now I only stick with a precise commit, so we can, yeah, at least.
Yeah, and this one I will take it.
Actually, not a release. Maybe it could be also enough a pre-release or a.
Yeah, RC would work.
Perfect. So I have doubt about this flow. So you say that right now we have the index which is published by Falco, which doesn't contain the signatures information. So that's the current status. But the current version of FalcoCTL, actually the latest one, which is on the master main branch, already supported. So we need to release FalcoCTL.
So that's the flow that I'm suggesting, just to make it clearer. First, we find a way of adding signatures to every rules and plugin. I mean, there is one point in time in which this will actually happen either way. That is when the next Falco will be released. But if we want, you can do it earlier, and it's probably better to do it earlier, I think, just to make sure that nothing breaks. Because otherwise, like next to release, getting something broken would suck. So it's probably better to do it first, which means releasing all the plugins and the rules, and we need to make a list of them and make sure that they can be released, and if they cannot, we need to make sure how to do it with a new patch version. So if now it's 1.0.0, now we will have 1.0.1 that is exactly the same, but with the signature. This won't hurt anyone, because right now the latest is the FalcoCTL version, doesn't care about signatures at all, so nothing happens. Then we update the index files and add the signature part that you have just mentioned. This means that current FalcoCTL will still not care, but the new FalcoCTL from master will work perfectly fine, because it will both read the signature data and also download the artifacts properly. Then we release the new FalcoCTL, and which means that at that point the stable version of FalcoCTL will work perfectly fine, because it will look for signatures and it will find them. And the old FalcoCTL will still work, because it will ignore signature information, and then we should be okay without them breaking anything. So that's the idea of the flow.
Yeah, got it.
But I think we need to sign everything first, because otherwise we'll end. If we update the index, we end up with inconsistent information. If we update FalcoCTL, we won't get with inconsistent information, but it's risky, because as soon as the index changes, we risk breaking something. So yeah.
I think that the order in which we inserted these notes are the correct order of the. So yeah, and well, and the next point that we talked about the 2 weeks ago is about the consistency of the tools that build and release the plugins and rules artifacts. Well, it's not
on that.
Sorry,
I don't have any update on that. I didn't think about it.
Yeah, neither me. So actually, this PR, I think that should be applied also to the rules, because sorry, the rules build tool, because also the build tool updates the index, if I recall correctly.
The rules also update the index. Yeah, both rules and plugins need to update, because please and double check that this is the case. The signature information for rules and plugins is different, because basically what changes is the repo that originates them, and for rules it's the rules repo, while for plugins it's the plugin. And we also discussed the fact that plugins in the registry might have signatures that are different. Maybe not today, but maybe in the future the registry could include, and maybe the official Falco index file could include something that is not hosted directly onto the Falco repository. Maybe it's a different repository, and we want to be able to add that repository if we need.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the next point, also this was discussed by Thomas. So it was about reducing the vulnerabilities in the base images. Actually, I don't remember exactly what is those.
Yeah, I can update, because I can point you out to this kind of things because it's interesting. And I think we need to fix it to get something out for 036 about that. Not that, but so there's two issues here that we probably want to address. One is that I'm posting in the document, of course. One is that, and the other is in Falco, I think. That is and this one, and this is this one. That I'm going to post in here.
So it doesn't involve new base images like discussion about co.
It's not really about co, but more about the Wolfie maybe, because there is a distroless, the option to use distroless. Now, this is something that I want to bring to the next core maintainer call, which is going to be next week, and basically at this time, pretty much. So think about it if you can. Basically, I would go through with two things. One, to migrate to Wolfie, because we have an example and we have to test that to make sure it works, because the folks at ChainGuard have provided an example for the Wolfie image. So we need to test that it works. And I would be moving I would be happier there to have that kind of image as Falco no driver image that has 0 CVEs, rather than having the current Debian Sling. However, that comes with a disadvantage that already some people have complained about it. So some people will still complain. The fact that you cannot really run other tools, like it doesn't have many tools inside, it has nothing. And so, which means that if you have outputs that you use outside programs to run these outputs, we are going to break some workflows. So this is a breaking change. But still, I would be happier to have an image that has 0 CVEs rather than, and maybe you can build your own if you need, rather than having an image that we are not completely sure about. And the other is updating the base image for the fat one that has the driver loader. And I would also be happy to do that, because right now we use an old one, and we have a lot of people complaining in the channel that they cannot use the Falco image to build the kernels for their infrastructure, their architecture, because they're moving towards newer image, Linux versions. And so upgrading that image makes more sense, and also it will reduce the number of vulnerabilities that appear, because we have tons just because the image is old. Once we update to an image that is newer, we shouldn't have those problems.
Okay, so for Falco, what about instead introducing for the Falco image? I don't know if it's feasible and it makes sense, and but could be a trade-off to release both current Falco Debian-based and Wolfie-based in parallel for at least a period of time in order to avoid breaking changes.
This could be doable, but we have to check. So in the core maintainer, I think for the core maintainer call, we can ask this question. And I will add this to the agenda of the core maintainer call. Actually, I forgot. Where's the link? Let me check. Let me double check. Core maintainers monthly meeting notes, and I will be adding that. Okay. This makes sense, I think. I added that to the notes for the core maintainer call, so that I think that would be the right place to discuss such a thing, because we'll have to do it before September, so there's not a lot of time left. Considering that personally, I will be off most of August. Actually, one week I'll be working, but I will be in Las Vegas for Hacker Summer Camp, and the rest I'll be on vacation.
Good. Okay. Well, I think that we cover all the points that we discussed in the previous meeting.
Okay, so I also added to the core maintainer call the part about re-releasing plugins and the rules. But if you have time, I know I won't, sadly, because I need to work on my presentation for Las Vegas, that I already have all the content, but I have to work on that, plus the graduation stuff, and plus I have a bunch of other tasks that I have to finish before going on vacation. But if you have some time before the maintainer call, or if you have time to go through the plugins and rules and see if it would be feasible to really release, we can discuss with the maintainers, and so to move this a bit forward. Otherwise, we'll discuss that in the call. I already added that to the agenda.
Okay, I'll try. So from my side, that's all. Do you have other points, Luca?
I'm good with that, and thank you so much, Max, for the work. It's awesome. I love it.
Thank you.
And I will also post my. Oh, and actually, since I'll be off most of August, you can still meet if you want, if there's people interested. If not, don't. But I will post it in the channel so that people know, and also I will add my shameless plug for my presentation in a couple of weeks.
Okay. And sorry, Luca, but I know another point. Maybe we could, when we have all the plugins and rules signed with Falco CTL that will verify the signature of all this stuff about signing the artifacts, we could write some we could write a blog post, maybe.
We should. We absolutely should.
It would be very, very interesting, I think, to share also with the community. Just an idea.
I will add it to the
Thank you. Let's go. Yeah. Only this point.
Yes. I completely agree. it was some interesting work, I think, and even the folks at Sigstore that they maintain cosine, they were happy. Carlos was happy with the implementation, with this use of cosine of the software they wrote. So I'm sure they will be happy as well to know that they're using their software in this way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Luca. Bye-bye.